The sky turned dark at noon, not from clouds or an eclipse, but from the massive ships that appeared without warning. They blocked the sun over every major city on Earth. People stopped in the streets, looking up with fear and wonder. Captain Samantha Carter was in the middle of a training exercise when the call came. Her squad of Earth Defense Force pilots had been practicing formation flying when every communication device on the planet started to broadcast the same message. Humans of Earth, we are the Kravorian Empire. Your planet is now under our control. Resistance is not advised. Your leaders have 6 hours to surrender. The message played on repeat in every language. The voice was flat and cold, almost mechanical, but clearly not human. Samantha was immediately ordered to return to headquarters. As her jet touched down, she could see the chaos already spreading. People running, vehicles abandoned, soldiers trying to maintain order. Captain Carter, report to the command center immediately, a sergeant told her as she climbed out of her jet. Inside the underground command center, world leaders appeared on giant screens. Some were in offices, others in bunkers. All wore the same expression of shock and fear. General Paul Harris, commander of the Earth Defense Force, pointed to satellite images showing the alien ships. They're everywhere. Over 200 ships, each one bigger than our largest aircraft carrier. What can our weapons do against them? Samantha asked. Nothing. We've fired test missiles. They didn't even touch the ships. Some kind of shield technology. President Laura Simmons appeared on the main screen. I've called for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council, but some countries are already talking about surrender. Across the world, militaries scrambled jets and activated missile defense systems. Nothing worked. The alien ships hovered, silent and threatening. Lieutenant Joe Martinez was working in the communications center when he noticed something strange. The aliens are using our own satellites to broadcast their message, he told his superior. They've hacked our network, but there's a pattern to it. Like they don't fully understand our technology. In Washington, the Pentagon became the center of Earth's defense planning. Scientists, military leaders, and government officials gathered to assess the situation. Dr. Alan Wright, a physicist with military clearance, studied the readings from the alien ships. Their technology is advanced, but not magical. They use some kind of energy field we haven't developed yet. But all energy has rules. 3 hours after the aliens appeared, a small scout ship crashed in a remote area of Arizona. The military secured the site before the aliens could recover it. Dr. Wright led the team examining the crashed ship. This is our only advantage, he said as they carefully entered the damaged vessel. We need to learn everything we can. The aliens inside were dead. They had blue-gray skin, were taller than humans, with 4 arms and large dark eyes. Their bodies were being transported to a secure facility for study. Meanwhile, at the United Nations, emergency talks were underway. Some nations wanted to fight. Others thought surrender was the only option to avoid destruction. Captain Carter was selected to join a small team of military representatives to potentially communicate with the aliens. You're level-headed under pressure, Captain, General Harris told her. We need that now more than ever. As the 6-hour deadline approached, Lieutenant Martinez made a discovery. The aliens' communication system has gaps. They're using our satellites but don't understand how our encryption works. There's a way to send messages they can't detect. President Simmons stood before the cameras, addressing the world. Today, we face the greatest challenge in human history. These visitors demand our surrender. They expect us to give up without a fight. She paused, her expression resolute. They don't know humanity very well. In orbit, Grand Admiral Zex Vor of the Kravorian Empire watched the humans with contempt. Every species they had encountered before had surrendered immediately. This would be no different. Their primitive weapons couldn't touch his ships. Their surrender was inevitable. He had no idea what was coming. The world held its breath as the 6-hour deadline passed. The alien ships remained motionless above the cities. Then a new message boomed across every screen and speaker. Your time for easy surrender has ended. You now have 72 hours to lay down all weapons and accept Kravorian rule. If you refuse, we will begin cleansing your major population centers. In the underground command center, President Simmons met with her military advisors. We need options, she said. I will not surrender Earth without a fight. Captain Samantha Carter studied the maps showing alien positions. They're confident, maybe too confident. They position their ships over cities rather than military bases. They don't see us as a threat. General Harris nodded. That might be our only advantage. Lieutenant Joe Martinez worked day and night with his team of communication specialists. They had discovered a way to send messages the aliens couldn't detect. It's like they never developed certain radio frequencies, he explained. They use advanced quantum communications, but they're blind to some older technologies. Dr. Alan Wright made rapid progress studying the crashed alien ship. His team worked in shifts, never stopping. Their shields are incredible, he told Carter when she visited the secret facility. But they need massive energy. And energy can be disrupted. Around the world, panic spread. Some people fled cities. Others stockpiled food and water. Religious groups declared the end times had arrived. Riots broke out in some areas as people fought over supplies. In other places, people came together. Neighbors helped each other. Communities organized. Humanity showed both its worst and its best. Military leaders from around the world joined secure video calls, using Martinez's hidden communication channels. Old enemies put aside differences to face the new threat. We can't win a direct fight, said the Russian general. Then we don't fight directly, Carter suggested. She outlined a plan based on guerrilla warfare. We make them come down from their ships. We fight on our terms, not theirs. Colonel Frank Daniels, a veteran of urban combat, expanded on the idea. We know our cities, our terrain. If they want Earth, they'll have to take it building by building, street by street. Major Kate Wilson volunteered to lead a dangerous mission. We need to get aboard one of their ships, learn more about them, maybe find a way to communicate. It's practically suicide, Harris warned. Then I'll need volunteers only, Wilson replied. The president addressed the United Nations again. Representatives from every nation attended, either in person or virtually. We have been given an ultimatum, she said. Surrender or face destruction. I ask each nation to decide for itself, but America will not bow to threats. One by one, most nations joined in refusing surrender. A few smaller countries, fearing complete destruction, announced they would accept alien rule. In orbit, Grand Admiral HFY watched the humans with growing irritation. He had conquered 12 worlds before Earth. None had resisted for long. These humans were surprisingly stubborn. Prepare the demonstration, he ordered his subordinates. Target their military installation in the desert. Show them our power. The aliens fired their first weapon. A beam of intense energy struck a remote military base in Nevada. In seconds, everything within a mile was vaporized. The message was clear: surrender or die. But the attack had an unexpected effect. Rather than causing more fear, it united humans in anger. Dr. Wright studied the energy readings from the attack. Now we know what we're dealing with, he said, already calculating how to counter it. Martinez intercepted communications between alien ships. They're arguing, he told Carter. Some of them wanted to target a city. Others think humans will be useful workers if kept alive. As the 72-hour deadline approached, humans didn't wait passively. Special Forces units moved into position near alien ships. Scientists worked on adapting Earth weapons based on what they'd learned. Wilson and her team prepared for their infiltration mission. They studied the aliens' patrol patterns, looking for any weakness. In his command ship, HFY prepared to order the cleansing of Earth's first major city. He was certain that once the humans saw a city destroyed, the rest would surrender immediately. He had no idea that humans were already moving against him, and that surrender was not in their plans. The 72-hour deadline expired. Grand Admiral HFY gave the order, and the alien fleet began their attack. Massive energy beams struck military bases across the world. Aircraft carriers exploded. Missile silos melted. Air Force bases turned to ash. The aliens targeted military infrastructure first, confident they could cripple Earth's defenses in one coordinated strike. But many bases were empty. Acting on Carter's plan, forces had scattered to hidden locations: underground bunkers, mountain hideouts, submarines beneath the oceans. Dr. Wright's team had worked nonstop to create makeshift shields based on the alien technology. They weren't perfect, but they could absorb some of the energy from alien weapons. "We don't need to block it all," Wright explained to the soldiers testing his invention. "Just enough to survive and keep fighting." Lieutenant Martinez's communication network became Earth's nervous system. With normal military channels destroyed, his secure frequencies carried messages between scattered resistance groups. "They're landing troops in Chicago," came one report. "2 ships moving toward Beijing," said another. The aliens hadn't expected to need ground troops. They thought their overwhelming show of force would be enough. When humans continued to resist, they had to adapt. Kravorian soldiers were tall, strong, and equipped with advanced weapons and armor. They moved into cities expecting little resistance. They found chaos instead. In Atlanta, a small team of soldiers led by Colonel Daniels let the aliens advance into the city center. Then they triggered preset explosives, collapsing buildings and trapping alien squads in urban canyons. In Moscow, snipers targeted alien communication devices, creating confusion in their ranks. In Rio de Janeiro, civilians led aliens into narrow favela streets where their large bodies and rigid formation made them easy targets. Major Wilson's infiltration mission launched during the height of the attack. Her team used a modified transport plane, flying low to avoid detection, aiming for one of the smaller alien ships. "This is crazy," said one of her soldiers as they prepared to jump. "Crazy is all we've got," Wilson replied. They parachuted onto the hull of an alien ship. Using tools designed by Wright's team, they cut through an access panel. Alarms blared as they fought their way inside. Most of Wilson's team died in the fierce fighting. The aliens hadn't expected humans to be so bold. Wilson and 2 others made it to a central area before being surrounded. Rather than surrender, they set off explosives they had carried. The damage was severe. The alien ship lost power and began to fall from the sky. On the ground, Captain Carter led a strike team against landed alien forces. They used hit-and-run tactics, striking quickly and retreating before the aliens could respond. "They expect us to fight like they do," Carter told her team. "They expect formations and direct attacks. We won't give them what they expect." President Simmons broadcast messages of encouragement from a hidden location. "Each hour we resist is an hour they didn't think possible. Each day we fight is a day they didn't think we could survive." The aliens' frustration grew. They had expected a quick victory. Instead, they faced constant harassment from an enemy that wouldn't stand and fight properly. Grand Admiral HFY summoned his commanders. Increase the attacks. Destroy their major cities. Show no mercy until they submit. The alien fleet positioned over New York, London, and Tokyo. They prepared to demonstrate their power by destroying these cities entirely. But as they charged their weapons, something unexpected happened. Multiple alien ships suddenly lost power. Their shields flickered and failed. Dr. Wright had discovered a way to disrupt their energy systems using Earth's own power grids, modified to create specific electromagnetic pulses. For the first time, Earth's conventional weapons could reach the alien ships. Missiles streaked upward from hidden launchers. Several alien vessels, suddenly vulnerable, exploded in spectacular fireballs. The first day of battle ended with devastating losses for humanity. Cities burning, millions dead, but also with something the aliens never expected: 7 of their ships destroyed, and humans still fighting. In his command ship, HFY stared at the reports with disbelief. No species had ever managed to destroy Kravorian ships before. These humans were proving more troublesome than he had imagined. 3 months passed. The world had changed. Major cities were under alien control. The Kravorians had established bases and begun to extract Earth's resources. They ruled with brutal force, killing any humans who resisted. But they did not control Earth. Not really. Captain Samantha Carter now led the largest resistance network on the planet. From a hidden base deep in the Rocky Mountains, she coordinated attacks across North America. They control the cities, but we control everything else, she told her officers during a strategy meeting. They can't be everywhere at once. The resistance used old mines, underwater facilities, and remote wilderness areas as bases. They moved constantly, never staying in one place long enough for the aliens to find them. Lieutenant Martinez had expanded his communication system. He used old radio equipment, Morse code, and even trained messenger birds to carry information between resistance groups. The aliens monitored digital signals, but these ancient methods confused them. Sometimes the old ways work best, Martinez said as he trained new recruits to use the systems. Dr. Wright had made incredible progress with alien technology. His team had created weapons that could penetrate alien armor and portable shields that could block alien scanners. Their technology is still better, he admitted, but we're catching up faster than they expected. The aliens had assumed Major Wilson and her team died in the ship they damaged. They were wrong. Wilson had survived, though badly injured. After months of recovery, she now moved among the aliens, gathering intelligence. Her face was scared from burns, but this helped her blend in among the injured human workers the aliens had enslaved. They don't look at us, she reported through Martinez's network. They don't think we're worth noticing unless we cause trouble. This arrogance was the aliens' greatest weakness. They saw humans as primitive and defeated. They didn't realize that every human worker in their bases was watching, learning, and reporting back to the resistance. Across the world, humans adapted to life under occupation. Some pretended to collaborate while secretly helping the resistance. Others fled to remote areas where the aliens rarely ventured. Communities formed, sharing resources and protecting each other. Children were taught in hidden schools. Doctors treated the injured in secret clinics. Farmers grew food in concealed gardens, sharing with resistance fighters. Grand Admiral HFY grew increasingly frustrated. His reports to the Kravorian Empire had promised a quick victory and plentiful resources from Earth. Instead, the occupation was costing more than it was producing. These humans are like insects, he complained to his commanders. Crush them in one place. They appear in another. The resistance wasn't just fighting. They were learning. Each alien patrol captured provided new information. Each piece of technology stolen helped Wright develop better countermeasures. Colonel Daniels now trained resistance fighters around the world via Martinez's network. The aliens fight like machines, he explained. They'd follow patterns. Once you see the pattern, you can disrupt it. President Simmons continued to broadcast messages of hope, though no one knew her exact location. This is not a war for territory, she reminded people. This is a war for survival, for the future of humanity. We will not lose. In alien-controlled New York, Wilson discovered something important. The Kravorians were building a massive weapon in what had been Central Park. Her notes and sketches traveled through the resistance network until they reached Carter. They're getting desperate, Carter said after studying the plans. This weapon could destroy entire continents. They wouldn't build it unless they felt threatened. The knowledge that the aliens felt threatened spread through the resistance. It gave people hope. Humanity wasn't winning yet, but they weren't losing either. In his command ship, HFY received word of another supply convoy attacked, another outpost destroyed. He smashed his fist into a display screen. Find their bases, he ordered. Find their leaders. I want Carter and Simmons captured or dead within one rotation. But the humans remained elusive, striking from shadows. disappearing before the aliens could respond. The Kravorians had expected submission. Instead, they got Defiance, and the Defiance was growing stronger every day. Major Wilson risked everything to send her latest message. She had discovered a critical secret about the Kravorians. They can't breathe our air for long periods, her message read. They use filters in their suits. Without them, Earth's oxygen levels are toxic to them over time. This information reached Dr. Wright at his hidden laboratory. He immediately began work on a new weapon. "We don't need to kill them," he explained to Captain Carter. "We just need to damage their breathing systems." For 2 weeks, Wright's team worked without rest. They created a gas that would clog the aliens' breathing filters without harming humans. It wasn't lethal, but it would force the aliens to retreat to their ships. Lieutenant Martinez coordinated the most complex operation of the Resistance so far. Using his communication network, he planned simultaneous attacks on Kravorian command centers worldwide. "Everyone has to move at exactly the same time," he told the regional commanders. "If they have warning, it won't work." Carter traveled between hidden bases, personally briefing key Resistance leaders. "This is our chance to push them back," she said. "Not just a single victory, but a turning point." Colonel Daniels trained special teams to deploy Wright's gas. "Get in, release the gas, get out," he instructed. "Don't stay to fight. That's not the mission." Around the world, Resistance fighters prepared. They memorized maps of alien facilities. They practiced their timing. They checked their equipment again and again. President Simmons addressed the Resistance the night before the operation. "Tomorrow we show the Kravorians that Earth will never surrender, that humans will never accept slavery, that defiance is in our nature." The global strike began at dawn. In over 50 locations, human fighters infiltrated alien command centers. Some posed as workers. Others used stealth technology developed from alien shields. They planted Wright's gas canisters in ventilation systems. In New York, Wilson led the most dangerous mission herself. The Central Command facility was heavily guarded. She had spent months gaining the aliens' trust as a seemingly broken human worker. Now she used that trust to get past security. When the gas released, chaos erupted. Kravorian soldiers gasped and clutched at their breathing masks. Many collapsed. Others frantically tried to reach sealed areas. Martinez's communication team hacked into the alien network, broadcasting false orders and adding to the confusion. For the first time, the Resistance captured alien officers alive. They also secured vital technology and information from command terminals. Most importantly, they captured parts of the weapon the aliens were building in New York. Wright's team quickly transported these components to their lab. The coordinated attack succeeded beyond all expectations. The aliens were forced to retreat to their ships to breathe safely. For a brief time, many ground facilities were back in human hands. Grand Admiral HFY was furious. He had been in orbit during the attack and returned to find his ground forces in disarray. "How did they know about our breathing systems?" he demanded. "How did they coordinate this?" He suspected a spy in his ranks but couldn't identify who. The truth, that a human was gathering intelligence from within, was too unbelievable for him to consider. Back at the Resistance headquarters, Carter reviewed the results of the operation. "We've pushed them back temporarily," she told her officers, "but their main fleet is still in orbit. They'll regroup and return." Wright examined the weapon components from New York. "This is more advanced than anything we've seen before," he said. "But now I understand how it works. We can build defenses against it." President Simmons met with Carter and the other Resistance leaders. For the first time, they discussed not just survival, but victory. "The Kravorians thought we would surrender," Simmons said. "Then they thought they could crush us with force. Now they're learning what humans do when backed into a corner. We fight harder." In his command ship, HFY made a decision. He sent a message to the Kravorian homeworld requesting reinforcements. "These humans are more dangerous than we thought," his message said. "We need more ships, more troops. This planet will not be easily conquered." The message would take time to reach the Empire. Until then, HFY faced a choice: retreat from Earth or find a new way to fight these unexpectedly defiant humans. The weeks after the global strike changed everything. Humans no longer hid in the shadows. They'd fought openly to reclaim their world. Dr. Wright and his team worked day and night adapting captured alien technology. They created weapons that could penetrate Kravorian shields and armor that could withstand alien weapons. "We're turning their own technology against them," Wright explained as he demonstrated a new rifle to resistance fighters. "This uses their energy principles but with our improvements." The captured weapon components from New York proved invaluable. Wright discovered they were parts of a massive energy cannon designed to destroy entire continents. "They were getting ready to wipe us out," he told Captain Carter. "Our attack came just in time." Carter led a bold campaign to reclaim key locations. With their new weapons, human fighters could now face Kravorian soldiers directly. They retook military bases, power plants, and communication centers. "Push them back to their ships," Carter ordered. "Make them fight for every inch of our planet." Lieutenant Martinez expanded his communication system. Now he didn't just connect resistance cells, he broadcast messages of hope and victory to everyone. "Humans of Earth, we are fighting back," his broadcasts announced. "The aliens are not invincible. Join us. Every person can help, whether by fighting or by supporting those who fight." These messages brought thousands of new volunteers to the resistance. People who had been hiding or trying to survive now wanted to help reclaim their world. Major Wilson continued her intelligence work, but with a new focus. She established contact with alien workers, members of species previously conquered by the Kravorians. "They hate their masters as much as we do," she reported. "Some are willing to help us." From these contacts, Wilson learned the Kravorian Empire had conquered 12 other worlds before Earth. No other species had resisted successfully. Human defiance was unprecedented. President Simmons addressed the United Nations in a secure underground facility. Representatives from countries around the world gathered to coordinate their efforts. "We no longer fight separate battles," she told them. "We must unite as one planet against this threat." For the first time since the invasion, nations shared all resources and information. Old enemies became allies. The human race stood together. Grand Admiral HFY faced growing problems. His ground forces were being pushed back everywhere. His ships remained powerful, but they couldn't control the planet from orbit. "These humans adapt too quickly," he complained to his officers. "They're learning to use our technology faster than any species we've encountered." The Kravorians changed tactics. Instead of trying to occupy Earth, they began destroying infrastructure from orbit. They targeted bridges, dams, and power plants, hoping to force humans into submission through suffering. This backfired terribly. Each attack only strengthened human resolve. Dr. Wright created a defense system using the aliens' own weapons against them. When Kravorian ships fired energy beams at Earth targets, Wright's devices absorbed and redirected the energy back at the ships. The first time this happened, an alien destroyer was hit by its own weapon. The ship exploded spectacularly above Chicago. Martinez broadcast the video worldwide. Cheers erupted from resistance fighters everywhere. Carter organized a coordinated offensive to reclaim occupied territories. Human forces moved simultaneously across continents, using the new weapons and tactics developed over months of fighting. For the first time, the Kravorians were forced to retreat not just temporarily but permanently from several regions. President Simmons spoke to the world again after these victories. "Today marks the beginning of Earth's liberation," she said. "The invaders thought we would surrender. Instead, we have taught them the true meaning of defiance." In orbit, Grand Admiral HFY faced the unthinkable: defeat. His reinforcement request had been sent, but it would take time for help to arrive. Until then, he had to prevent a total collapse of Kravorian control. "Prepare for the Omega Protocol," he ordered his commanders. "If we cannot have this world, no one will." The alien ships began to move into new positions around Earth. They were preparing for something big, perhaps their final act of destruction against the planet that had defied them. Major Wilson's alien contacts brought urgent news. Grand Admiral HFY had called for massive reinforcements from the Kravorian Empire. A fleet 10 times larger than the original invasion force was on its way to Earth. "They'll be here in 3 days," Wilson reported to the Resistance leadership. "The Admiral plans to destroy Earth rather than accept defeat." The news spread quickly through Martinez's communication network. After months of victories, humans now faced their greatest challenge. President Simmons called an emergency meeting of global leaders. "We've pushed them back on the ground, but we can't stop their ships in space," she said. "If their reinforcements arrive, we lose everything." Dr. Wright stepped forward with a radical idea. "We need to take the fight to orbit," he said. "I've completed work on a weapon that can disable their ships from a distance." He showed them diagrams of what he called a pulse cannon. "It sends out waves that disrupt their power systems," he explained. "But we need to get it close enough to their command ship." Captain Carter developed a daring strategy. "We can't match their space technology," she admitted, "but we can use what we have in unexpected ways." Her plan required the largest joint operation in human history. Every country would contribute resources and people. There would be no second chance if they failed. Colonel Daniels began training a special operations team for the most dangerous mission yet. "We're going after HFY himself," he told the volunteers. No one had to be told the risks. Everyone knew this might be a one-way mission. Lieutenant Martinez established contact with other species previously conquered by the Kravorians. "Earth is fighting back," his messages said. "Join us. Freedom is possible." Responses came from across the galaxy. Other enslaved worlds watched Earth's resistance with hope. Some promised to rise up if Earth showed the way. For 3 days, humans worked without rest. They retrofitted aircraft with alien technology. They built Wright's pulse cannon in multiple locations around the world. They prepared for what might be their final stand. The Kravorian reinforcement fleet appeared right on schedule. Over 100 massive ships emerged from faster-than-light travel near the moon. They moved into formation, preparing to join HFY's existing fleet for the final assault on Earth. But humans struck first. Wright's pulse cannons fired simultaneously from dozens of locations. The energy waves hit the alien ships, causing their systems to flicker and fail. Modified fighter jets launched from hidden bases worldwide. They carried weapons designed specifically to target Kravorian ships' vulnerable points, identified by months of studying the aliens' technology. The space battle was visible from Earth's surface. Streaks of light and massive explosions lit up the night sky as human ingenuity confronted alien technology. Wilson led a team including representatives from other conquered species aboard a captured Kravorian shuttle. They approached the command ship using stolen access codes. "The Grand Admiral doesn't expect an attack from inside his own fleet," Wilson told her team. "That's our advantage." Carter coordinated the ground assault on remaining alien bases. With most Kravorian attention focused upward, humans reclaimed city after city. In orbit, HFY watched in disbelief as his reinforcement fleet took heavy damage before it could even join the battle. Human weapons shouldn't have been effective against Kravorian ships. Yet they were. "Impossible," he muttered as another destroyer exploded. "They were primitive just months ago." The battle reached its peak when Wilson's team boarded the command ship. Fighting through surprised guards, they reached the central control room, where HFY directed the Kravorian forces. "Surrender," Wilson demanded, her weapon pointed at the Grand Admiral. HFY looked at the human with forearmed contempt. "Kravorians do not surrender," he said, reaching for a control panel. Wilson fired first. The Grand Admiral fell, wounded but alive. "Then you'll learn something new today," Wilson said, "just like we did." With their leader captured and their ships disabled, the Kravorian attack faltered. For the first time in the Empire's history, its mighty fleet faced defeat. On Earth, people watched the battle in the sky with hope and fear. Everything depended on what happened next. With Grand Admiral HFY captured, Major Wilson forced him to order all Kravorian ships to stand down. The alien commander did so reluctantly, his pride shattered by defeat. "I do not understand," he said as Wilson's team secured the command ship. "No species has ever resisted us successfully. How did you do this?" "You expected surrender," Wilson replied simply. "Humans don't surrender. We adapt. We fight. We unite against threats." On Earth, people celebrated as alien ships stopped their attacks. After months of occupation and battle, victory seemed possible for the first time. Captain Carter led teams to secure the remaining Kravorian ground bases. Without support from orbit, alien soldiers quickly surrendered. They had never expected to fight without their technological advantage. Dr. Wright's pulse cannon proved devastatingly effective against the reinforcement fleet. Over half the alien ships were disabled before they could even join the battle. "Their technology is still more advanced," Wright admitted during a briefing. But they never expected anyone to understand it well enough to counter it. Lieutenant Martinez broadcast news of the victory worldwide. His message reached hidden communities and occupied territories, bringing hope to those still under alien control. "Earth is fighting back, and Earth is winning," his message declared. "This is not the end, but it is the beginning of the end for the invaders." 3 days after HFY's capture, something unexpected happened. Ships began arriving in Earth orbit, but not Kravorian warships. These were vessels from other worlds conquered by the Empire. "They received our messages," Martins explained excitedly. "When they heard we were fighting back successfully, they rose up too." Representatives from these worlds requested permission to land and meet with Earth's leaders. President Simmons welcomed them at a secure facility in Switzerland. The visitors were diverse. Some resembled humans while others were wildly different. But all shared the experience of Kravorian conquest, and all had been inspired by Earth's defiance. "We watched as you fought when no one else dared," said a delegate from a world called Nebulon. "You have shown the galaxy that the Empire can be defeated." Carter organized a council where Earth's military leaders could meet with fighters from other worlds. They shared tactics, technology, and information about Kravorian weaknesses. "Together, we can ensure they never threaten any of our worlds again," Carter told the assembled representatives. Wilson interrogated HFY, learning crucial information about the Empire's structure and vulnerabilities. The Grand Admiral's arrogance faded as he realized the full extent of his failure. "The Empire will send more ships," he warned. "You cannot defy them forever." "We don't need to defy them forever," Wilson replied. "Just long enough for others to join us." Martinez established a communication network between Earth and the other liberated worlds. For the first time, humanity joined a galactic community. Dr. Wright worked with scientists from other planets, sharing knowledge and developing new technologies. "We're advancing faster together than any of us could alone," he noted. President Simmons addressed the world 1 year after the invasion began. Behind her stood representatives from a dozen alien worlds, all former victims of the Kravorian Empire, now allies of Earth. "When the invaders came to our world, they expected surrender," she said. "Instead, they found defiance. They found a species that would not bow, would not break, would not give up. Today, we stand not just as survivors, but as leaders in a new alliance of free worlds." As she spoke, the last Kravorian ships were leaving Earth's orbit, escorted by vessels from the Alliance. The defeated Empire had agreed to peace terms, recognizing the independence of Earth and the other worlds. Grand Admiral HFY watched from captivity as his forces departed. "I still do not understand," he said to his human guard. "Why didn't you surrender when you had no chance of victory?" The guard smiled. "Because that's not what humans do. We were teaching the stars a lesson in defiance." And across the galaxy, other worlds were learning that lesson too.